So we got out to King of the Hammers this season with a car that we had a year on it. We had freshly prepped it. We tore this car down to a bare chassis. We had it sandblasted, powder coated. Everything was either new or rebuilt and fully prepared for the 2014 season. So we set the stage on Friday to be pretty epic. We won on Thursday in the Everyman Challenge, and Friday we had to go after the biggest win of what would be my career. So we started third off the line this year after qualifying very well, just behind Nitto team driver Nick Nelson, who had the pole for the main event. The race started out kind of rough for us right off the bat. We were in Nick and Tom's dust right off the line, and there was a little confusion at backdoor whether we could run it first or if we wanted to take out in the desert and try to maintain our lead. So we took a look at it, and there was a car in it, so we decided to bypass it and go on. And took a really hard hit to the passenger front tire. The tire didn't go down, but what ended up happening was the wheel flatted. We run a run flat system called tire balls. So unbeknownst to us, we had a flat tire 2 miles into the race. So we continued on, we continued to charge in Nick's dust trying to catch him for what was 30 miles before we realized that we had a flat tire. We lost a wheel and tire at race mile 32, I believe. So we had 5 miles of limping into the remote pit to get that changed. By the time we got that changed, I believe we were 16th overall rolling out of that first pit. So at this point, I knew we still had the ability to win the race. I didn't count us out. It was so early. King of the Hammers is such a long race. You know, you never give up, no matter what. So we made the push. We started running a little more than our conservative race pace, picking cars off left and right. So on our second lap, running through the Wrecking Ball Trail, we got to the top of the waterfall obstacle. Our fellow teammate Derek West was in it, attempting to make it, and unfortunately he rolled over in the hole there. So Rob and I had to make the decision whether we were going to try to recover Derek and get him out of the way and shoot that line ourselves, or take the optional bypass that the year before, in 2013, we actually rolled off of on our last lap of the King of the Hammers race in this new car. So that was in the back of my mind. You know, you could throw the whole race away with one small false move like that, but I made the decision that, you know, we needed to attempt that bypass and take the gamble because I knew that the car was capable of it, and I knew that I could make it. So we took the bypass, and fortunately it worked out in our benefit, and we were able to continue mowing down the rest of the field, trying to get back to that first place spot. So we were able to regain the lead halfway through the third lap after passing fellow Nitto teammate Lauren Healy out of remote pit 2. Lauren's jack had come loose and punctured his radiator. They tried to repair it in the pits. They peeled out in front of us, which I knew Lauren was in front of us, and we passed him not a mile later. He was pulled over on the trail. So at that point, the game plan was to maintain our lead and try to run a clean rest of the race. We were able to clear spooners and shifted from low range to high range in the transfer case, only to find the car having a clunk in high range. So at that point, my heart dropped. I thought for sure that we had broken the transfer case. Rob and I got back out and checked everything out. It turns out the rear drive line had pushed a U-joint cap out, and it was the drive shaft that was making the awful clunk. So we were able to change the rear slip on the drive shaft before getting passed again by Lauren and maintain the overall lead. Rob and I knew that we had the race in the bag if we could stay clean, consistent, and smooth. We had cleared all of the hard rock trails at this point and had a little bit, 30 miles of desert left. It wasn't until coming down Clawhammer that my worst fear was realized. We had a steering failure turning into the trail where our orbital valve locked up and let go, and at that point knew very well that I think that might have been our day. This is an orbital valve, which essentially is a steering box for a full hydraulic system, and what failed on my car. So after we figured out that we were pretty much dead in the water with our steering, and that, you know, that victory that we had tried so hard to get was out of the question, Rob and I had to make the decision whether we were going to try to push forward and finish this race or just call it quits. To just give up because our steering failed is not like us. You know, we put everything that we have into this, and finishing King of the Hammers is an accomplishment in itself. It was at that point that I had to make the run to remote pit 2A to pick up the new valve. So as the crow flies, it's not that far, but the problem was we were in the canyons of Johnson Valley. So In the end, I probably ran about 5 miles to get this part. They loaded me down with the backpack, steering fluid, the special tools we needed to change this valve and the valve itself. So, one of the big things that I do as a driver to prep for this event is a lot of core and fitness work, which really paid off. I mean, a lot of guys would have just given up, but for me, I mean, that giving up is a loss. This was a pretty big win for the team to be able to come back from such a heartbreaking part failure and actually finish the race. It was pretty special.